he was the one. So people started. We were drinking tea out of like solid gold tea bowls and using ivory tea scoops. And he's the one that said, no. From now on, we're going to use bamboo tea tools because bamboo is a weed and anybody can get their hands on it. So now tea becomes accessible to everybody by using a tool that anyone can make, and the value from it comes not from the material it's made from, but from the effort used to make it and the sentimental value it gains as you pass it down from generation to generation.
Accessible.
Exactly.
Like, it was everybody can have tea.
It was still
Like
a thing that
everybody
rich people
can
did,
have
but
tea,
now
yeah.
it's like you can feel better about yourself
That
when
is
you do
so
it.
cool.
Yeah.
And then like no more solid gold tea bowls. Now tea bowls are like earthen, made by local artisans and passed down in sentimental value only kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought India was big on tea in general, but maybe this is my modern thinking because they are
Even
the big
more.
export.
I mean, tea
They are
came
the
from
big-
India
the
originally.
Tea came from India.
Yeah.
Okay, you look like you are the historian girl.
So
here,
much
so
tea.
you know everything. So when it was introduced by the monks to Japan, when around what time?
So the
1500?
year
No,
year
it's-
that tea was brought over by the Japanese monks who visited China was 1192.
You mean the opposite by the monks
So the
from
Japanese
China.
monks did a trip to China where they were checking on their
okay.
Chan Buddhist brothers. Chan Buddhism and Zen Buddhism are the same thing. They're just called different names in China and Japan. And so they wanted to see what their brothers were up to. And they were so like surprised by the dedications of these monks that didn't fall asleep that they asked what their secret was.
What's the secret?
The secret was the miracle of caffeine. So they actually, and the trip was like very
tea
well
is
documented.
high.
Yeah.
Tea is very high in caffeine than coffee.
Yeah,
Oh,
matcha,
okay.
the green tea that's used, the powdered green tea that's used in tea ceremony, that is like the Red Bull of tea because you're not just steeping the tea, it's a powder, so you're consuming the entire leaf. So you get the most caffeine and also the most health benefits and antioxidants and everything, but people don't always realize how caffeinated,
How
it can be.
caffeinated it is?
It's
Oh,
like,
I
don't
didn't
drink
know
this
that.
at night, you will never sleep. But you're not going to be shaking like coffee, like it's a different kind of feeling, but you will be so awake. So,
Okay.
yeah. Tea.
I should have that in the morning.
Yeah, because you don't get the same kind of crash from it either. So
Ooh.
I like to do coffee in the morning and then matcha in the afternoon, so I don't get sad caffeine crash. But it's also just delicious.
Yeah. I never tried it. I was wondering what is it specific about this tea?
Yeah, it's just
But I just
powdered
didn't
tea.
try it. Yeah.
You can actually, you've probably had it before if you've ever had a green tea latte from Starbucks. They
That's
use
what it is?
sweetened. Well, they use, if you get it sweetened, they use sweetened matcha, which just means they put powdered sugar in it. But yeah, that is the powdered green tea. If you've ever had a green tea flavored anything, that would have been made with culinary matcha. So, which is culinary and like ceremonial grade matcha is just, culinary is kind of a little rougher in quality, where the ceremonial kind that is for drinking is like finer. But it's the same thing. So any green tea flavored muffin, Kit Kat bar, anything, that is made with matcha. Ice cream made with matcha.
Oh, I tried the ice cream.
Yeah.
That's I tried.
Yeah, I've also had the matcha, like their fondant encrusted like ice cream balls that are
Oh,
in the
yeah.
freezer. Those are so good.
Those are
but yeah,
delicious.
matcha flavored.
Yeah, anything. And you can put it in anything.
I didn't realize caffeine.
Yeah. I like put it, if you put it in hot chocolate, it's delicious and caffeinated. And it tastes like a Kit Kat.
I have to try it. If it's not gonna give me the caffeine, the kick of the caffeine itself,
Yeah.
it's smooth but keeping me awake. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah, so it's not like the high buzz and then the crash. It's more like you plateau for a longer period of time with the caffeine. So I like it more. So we can kind of scoot on this way. And you might have to go around the tea house to get in. But I can also just talk about it here because you can see the courtyard from here. And so this... Oh,
I'm like, oh no.
the floor is slippery.
He's more aware.
Yep. Present in the moment now. So this little area, this is the courtyard garden. And the courtyard garden is the kind of thing that is where you don't have a natural nice view, so you can create a view where there is none. And it's also the kind of place, like, this is also the kind of garden you would find in urban places where, like, the nouveau riche class in Tokyo, they don't have big properties, so they can't have the sprawling gardens like here, but they want something nice to look at, so courtyard garden. And even though it's very small, it still has the three main elements of Japanese gardening, which is plants, stone, and water. And if you are in a place where you can't have water in your garden, you can use sand to represent it. So if you've ever seen those Zen gardens with the sand and the rake, that is, if you have a rock and like one twig of bamboo, that's technically a garden. And the rake is actually to create patterns that make it look like a current, which makes the sand look more like water. So that's what the sandboxes are. And then that basin right there is another tsukubai, and it's both a decorative element in the courtyard garden, but it's also, that's the bathhouse right there, it's also like your bathroom sink, so you can wash your hands. And just a note, typically the tea house and bathhouse would not be touching.
And here's your bathroom.
Yes.
Can I go inside?
Yeah, you can go inside. The tea house and bathhouse, so they wouldn't normally be touching, and they would also both be farther away from the house, but everything here was designed to fit in the courtyard of the MoMA, so it's a little bit more squished together than you would normally find. So also, in some places, you would also separate the outhouse part of the bathhouse with the bath
much
part.
like an outhouse. You don't have it near the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even like the bathhouse and the outhouse would also be separated a lot of the time because, just keeping everything very sanitary. But inside the bathhouse,
I can go this way.
Yeah, you can twirl around. But I can show you because you can go inside. And it's a little dark, but we do have some lights in here.
Okay.
It's lit up very nicely. It might be hard to see on film, but the 4 chambers in here, the one all the way to the back, and oh good, they did put the light in it. That's hilarious.
Do you have light?
I probably could use a flash. Is that what you mean?
Yep.
So if I took a picture, hold on.
We can also turn the flashlight on. Yeah, there it is. So the toilet there is a traditional squat toilet, so instead of sitting on it, you squat over it to go to the bathroom, and the part that looks like it would be the back is actually a handle, so you don't lose your balance.
Oh.
And then this one in the room right here is your ye olden 17th century urinal, because they had those back in the day.
I can't take anything.
I'll take the picture now. Like, take them at the same time as me. Ready?
I'm taking a picture.
Oh, okay. Ready?
Well, you'll have a flash of urinal. There it is. But the funniest thing about that one is that bamboo grate that's around the urinal is just there for people who don't inhale to not make a mess, because it goes right through to the ground underneath.
I need one of those in my house.
Right? Like, instead of telling people to leave the toilet seat down, just urinal and right around it.
Yes, exactly.
And then that in there is the actual bath, and it looks like it could be really small, but it's actually deep, so you could get a good soak up to your neck or shoulders depending on how tall you are.
Move back a little
And
bit.
then you'll also notice the bathroom is set down a little bit, and there's another like slots in the floor so you don't splash water and flood the room. And so you would actually, the bath is not so much for getting clean as it is for relaxing. It's more like a jacuzzi, in that the whole family does share the same bath water. And that's not gross because you'd be getting clean outside of the bath the same way you take a shower before you go in a public pool. And so you'd be sitting down on the little bench there with your bucket and a sponge, and you would wash off before you go inside the bath. So relaxing, hot tubs. And if you were in a place with natural hot springs, that would be how you'd fill your bath. But in a place like this that doesn't have hot springs, then your servants would be boiling water and putting it in the bath. And that's also why the bath has a lid on it, so when you're done, you shut the lid to keep the water hot and to keep things from falling in it. And also, I can show you, if the room gets too steamy, like, you can shut the door up and let the steam fill it, but if it's too much, you can open the wall.
Oh,
and then you let the
that's
steam out
nice.
and have a view. And it wouldn't really matter if people could see you, because this would be a private property, so no one who didn't work for you or was related to you would be here. So,
Is this like a traditional house in Japan now?
No, this is like the 17th century.
Okay, I missed the beginning of
Oh, yeah. Although a lot of squat toilets are still used in a lot of places, but for the most part, they're like very high tech. Like there's a million buttons, there's bidets, there's like sound effects, so like nobody can hear you pee. It's great. That's awesome.
An ordinary house in Japan.
Not so. I've never seen a SWAT toilet in like a residential house, but like I've seen them in public bathrooms. Yeah.
I seriously have no idea.
Unless somebody lives in a really old house, then it might. But usually there's just new fancy plumbing.
So like our houses in Japan very similar to ours now?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, pretty similar.
Japan, I don't really know. Like I should probably know that, but
It's you know, old houses have old plumbing and old things in them.